Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Times Forum. This is episode 34, and today we'll be doing something a little different. Instead of multiple videos about different topics, it'll be one video covering multiple topics. So you can consider it almost like a weekly briefing, but we're not going to make this a regular thing. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So first of all, I guess the major thing is, the topic of the week is this new virus called the Hanta virus. Pretty sure that's how you say it, but yeah, it all started, of course, on a cruise ship. Now, we've heard many stories of, you know, cruise ships and stuff like that. But yeah, somewhere in the Atlantic, I think. It started somewhere, whatever, some cruise ship. That's all I really need to know, I guess. But yeah, it starts off as like the usual fever, headache, fatigue, and stuff like that, and then it turns into organ failure very quickly too. Um, but yeah, it said it started from rodent droppings that came in contact with a human. How that happened, I have no idea. Um, but yeah, so we could be looking at this as COVID 2.0 or something like that, because as we go further into the future, the chances of another pandemic are only getting higher and higher. So and last time with Trump, right, when he was president with COVID, he didn't handle that too good. He like refused to take the protocols or whatever. And in 2017, when his administration first got in, they refused to do they kind of did the bare minimum to prepare for pandemic or something like that. But let's all obviously hope that it turns out to be nothing. It most likely will be. You know, Also, the fatality rate for this virus is only, well, I should say only, but it's 35 to 40% or something like that. But yeah, it's still pretty bad, I guess. And yeah, so the people were on the ship or something. I don't know the whole like timeline, but the people were on the ship. Then they had to keep them on there, treat everybody, make sure everybody's good to go, and then they finally docked somewhere in another country. Someone who was on the cruise, but like before this whole thing even happened, got on a plane, and that brought it to the United States. I mean, no one else has been infected yet, I guess, but and then once the cruise finally, where it was able to dock, everybody, like including all the passengers, they all went to 12 different countries. So if it does turn into this big global pandemic thing, then we're already not off, already not good, whatever, already not off good. You gotta be kidding. Already not off to a good start. So you know, anyway, so I think it's nothing to really be worried about. Seems like they have it under control. Hopefully, my personal opinion, I think they should have just kept them on the ship until this whole thing, until you 100% know that this isn't going to happen or it's not going to spread to anybody. Anyway, the second talk of the week is President Trump, of course. He's going to repaint the reflecting pool. Now, this can go back to what I was saying before. We have Trump, the developer in chief, just basically renovating the White House, Washington, D.C., and all the others, stuff related to that. Even at his golf course a couple weeks ago, they put up a 22-foot gold statue of him, and people are comparing it to Kim Jong Un's statue in North Korea. So it's almost like the same pose too. So back to the pool reflecting thing. He plans to, because according to Trump, and I guess I can sort of agree, it always had this murky, dark look to it. So now he's repainting it to American flag blue, which is going to get more of a tropics look. I don't want like it's gonna look nice, but I just don't want it to look cheesy and cheap. But and then he releases a video of him driving through it, so that's that, I guess. Anyway, Trump has also approved a plan to fire the FDA commissioner, Dr. Marty McCary, according to a person briefed on the matter. Now, this goes back to all the worries and rumors that have been going on inside the administration. As you know, many of the cabinet members have been getting fired recently, You have Christy Nome and what's that lady? The lawyer, I think. Oh, Pam Bondi, yeah, her. And there's rumors of Cash Patel. He's about to get fired, I'm sure, because of the whole drinking problem. Pete Hegseth isn't doing so good with all the, quote unquote war crimes. But yeah. So and this goes back to also to his first administration. A lot of people got fired there. So we're only gonna, we can only assume it's gonna be more and more. So, uh, yeah. So, oh, this new thing in Virginia. So basically, the Republicans. Like I said, I've said this like 1,000 times. The Republicans know they're screwed for the 2026 midterms. Like, there's no way we're winning in. Like, there's just no way we're gonna win. We're gonna wiped out. Trump's not gonna, be able to do anything. He's already not doing anything now because, he's trying to get people from the Democratic side, which, again, I've said this before, we shouldn't bother, like, trying to bring people onto our side. No one, everybody hates the Republicans, they hate Trump. There's no point of doing that, so at least satisfy your base so we can keep the people we already have, right? Then then worry about doing that stuff after, because come November, we're not going to be able to do any of this anymore. There will be no mass deportations because Congress won't approve anything, and ICE won't be funded, and the promises kept or promises made, promises kept won't be able to happen anymore because nothing's going to pass. Uh, yeah. Next on this U.S. Iran war, yes, it's still going. Um, think I discussed this 4 weeks ago, so it's been 4 weeks since we last discussed this. And it's pretty much been the same thing, talks of peace plans, the U.S. agreeing, then Iran saying that they didn't agree, they never actually talked, and so we're trying to just a whole mess again. The Strait of Hormuz is still closed, and yeah, to put it simply, it's a mess, and it's hasn't gotten anywhere. The U.S. fired at two more oil tankers that it said were trying to reach an Iranian port. Iran accused the U.S. of undermining diplomatic efforts to end the war. So basically, because Trump's always saying that he wants to stop it and he's looking for a plan, but Iran doesn't see it that way. They think that, the U.S. and Israel, of course, still want to keep going, which I guess I can agree to that. Because, like I said, and everybody knows this, I guarantee if Israel weren't, behind this and they didn't want us to do it, then guess what? We wouldn't have done it. We wouldn't have to worry about this. But this started February 28th, and it's now May 9th, or it's May 9th, yeah. So it's already been a very long time. What else? So yeah, oh, back to the Republican redistricting thing. So, yeah, a while back, so yeah, like I said, the Republicans know they're not going to win the midterms, so now we're looking for ways to cheat, I guess. So we want to change the congressional maps of the states. So I guess it's kind of like a confusing process or like whatever, but basically we're just trying to limit the voting, like we're trying to narrow it down so that way as I guess you can say as less people that we don't want voting, like they're not gonna be able to vote. They're saying like that. I don't even know his name, but that black senator who black people don't really like because listen, I haven't really been paying attention to this guy for that long, but apparently he's been going like because listen, he's a black senator, right? He's back in the 80s or 90s. It's kind of hard for a colored person to get elected into Congress and then as a senator, so yeah, I guess it's a major improvement for his community or whatever you want to say. But they're saying that since he was able to do it and, he was able to get such a high position, he doesn't want anybody else of his own party for, whatever reason. He doesn't want them to be able to, get that chance. He closed all their doors that he had open. So, but that just goes back to the some voting act was overturned in Virginia that basically had something to do with like colored people or something like it's gonna limit the voting for colored people, or I don't know, but listen, I they can change the maps if they want, but I don't even think it's gonna matter that much. Because, like I said, everybody hates Trump. We're just losing more and more people by the day. And so, like I said, we should just try and get our things out now. Just keep going with the mass deportations. Keep going with just all to make our country great, right? And really just put an end to this war. But yeah, so that's pretty much the whole windup, I guess. Uh, what else here? Yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess. So, yeah, I guess in overall summary, Trump's still doing his thing, trying to take over the entire country, basically renaming everything, the airports, highways, and stuff like that. But, yeah, so anyway, I was planning to add more to this video, but I don't really have a lot, I guess. Like, I had a lot planned, but I didn't want to make multiple videos, so I just figured I was going to do it all in one. But, yeah, it's not looking like we have too much on the schedule today. But, yeah. I guess we can take a little scroll into Fox News or something like that. Yeah, so. Never mind, there's nothing here. Anyway, so yeah, I guess that basically wraps up today's video. I would, like I said, I was planning to add more, but I guess, just not that much. Anyway, so thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.